Hi everyone. Today I'm making eggplant parm with 2 eggplants, not a lot. This is a good way to start, either 1 or 2, any beginners. So what I do is, the first step is I cut the top and the bottom, and now I will peel them, and then I'll show you the next step. So now I have sliced and peeled 1 eggplant, peel the other. As you can see, there's not a lot of seeds, which is good, that it won't be too bitter, and it's all sliced up and we're ready to go. I like to get firm eggplant. It was easy to peel. Now this step can be eliminated. It's something that Italians do to get the bitterness out of the eggplant. So we line up and pile it up in a bowl, and we add some salt. Each layer has to be salted, which will draw the water out of it, which is bitter water. Today, not too many people do this. You don't have to, but I like to do it. The eggplant is sweet and not very juicy. It's drier when you take it out. As you can see, this eggplant was very big at the bottom, so what I did is I sliced it in half. When you slice it in half, it's easier to work with, and you know, it's much faster. And here I am still piling into the bowl and adding salt. Okay, so the next step is I've sliced it, 2 eggplants, and now I'm going to weight it down to let the more of the bitterness go away. So I put a dish over it, and then I put a weight over that, which is a small watermelon that I have. So this has to stay like this for at least a few hours. As I said, this process can be eliminated. You could buy the eggplant already fried. You could just slice it and fry it, right away, because today's eggplants are not as bitter as they used to be. So you can do it that way. So I'm going to let it sit for a few hours and then squeeze the moisture out, and I'll show you the next step. So after a couple of hours, I'm going to drain the juice that comes out of this. You see how dark it is? I'll get a closer look. See, that's what makes it bitter. So now I'll take it out. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with my own. So now I'll just grab a few and squeeze it. And there's still there's more coming out. And I'm going to keep doing this till I get it all squeezed. So this is the squeezed eggplant, ready to bride. Here's my basil. I washed it and it's ready to put it into the layers. And this is all the juice I took out of the 2 eggplants. That does not taste good. Like I said, you can omit this part, because the eggplants today are not as bitter as they used to be. And it's an old-fashioned way of doing it, but that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to show you how we do it, just so I have enough. And I'll just get them scrambled up a little. And here is my Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, and I'll put some cheese, grated cheese in it. And here's the eggplant ready to be put in the eggs and the breadcrumbs. As you see, I don't use flour. I don't think there's any reason to use flour unless you're making a sauce like chicken franchise and you need a sauce, to thicken. You use flour. Otherwise, I don't use it. So I just do a quick dip in the egg and in the breadcrumbs, and then you put it aside like I'm doing here, and it'll be ready to fry. At this point I ran out of egg mixture, so I have to do another egg. I have very little left. Of course, there's a lot more breadcrumbs that were added, and this is all I have left to bread, and this is what I've done already. So we're ready to fry the eggplant. I got to clean up in the meantime. So this is the finished product, egged and breaded. And here is my largest pan that I will fry it in. And I will put the fried pieces in here so I can save it for the next step. As you can see, I loaded up really well. Let it get nice and brown, and I'll turn it over. It's frying pretty quickly now. Don't forget, you control the heat. If it's too high, lower it, take your time. This is the finished product. All done. This is leftovers, little pieces of eggplant that is for the cook to eat. So I will be enjoying this with a little salt. So this is what we're doing in layering it. The ingredients are: buy the best mozzarella you can. Fresh is the best. I use a little bit of salt. Each layer gets some cheese, grated cheese, and this is the sauce I use. I just use any brand that is tomato sauce, and I pour it right out of the can. I don't put any seasonings in it, and it's delicious. You don't need to. You could put whatever sauce you want on it. So now I'm just going to layer it. And then I will pour a little more sauce on top, right out of the can. Here it is with the basil, ready for the next layer. Here is the second layer, done. Also, you see I'm not using a lot of products here, mozzarella or grated cheese, just enough to give it the flavor. We don't like it too cheesy. This is just enough, and some basil. Okay, this is the third layer, done, and now the top layer. Don't forget, you don't have to cook the eggplant too much because it's going to bake in the oven for a long time, so it will get cooked completely. So it's done. It's all put together in a nice pan. So we finish it off at the top with as much sauce as you like, right out of the can, as I'm doing. And then we cover it with foil and let it cook in a 350 oven for a half an hour. And then we'll take the foil off and let it cook another 15-20 minutes without it, and it'll absorb all the moisture and the tomato sauce. Okay, all done. I used a 29-ounce can of tomato sauce, which I used a whole can. So that's it. Just going to cover it and let it bake. Here is the minted eggplant I did about 10 days ago, and it's almost ready, and you'll taste it and you'll see that you'll taste the garlic, you'll taste the mint, and you'll taste the eggplant, and it's just so delicious on a slice of bread. I've just taken the foil off the eggplant, and you see it's boiling, and that's what you want. It has to boil. And now we're ready to take the cover off and let it bake for another at least 15-20 minutes. The eggplant parm is finished. As you can see, it's still boiling, but we're going to leave it on the countertop and let it cool off for at least a half an hour, and then I'll show you a portion, and it smells delicious. And don't forget, if you leave it in a little longer or a little less, it's okay. It's all cooked now. Enjoy. Ciao. Here is a piece that I will have.